welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be doing about 30 seconds of When I'm 64 by the Beatles. We're going to be using belly dance movements to this contemporary music, which means that today's lesson is a belly dance fusion one. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to go over the core movements and our variations that we'll be doing in this dance. There are going to be some advanced movements, so if any of them are too much for you, completely fine. I'm also going to talk about the core variations that you can use to build up your practice. So this is a video that can last you a while. After I go over our movements, then I'm going to talk about the choreography, and then we'll have a chance to practice it with the music. Reminder, always stretch before you start your dance. It'll help with your flexibility for the movements, but also it's just good for keeping your joints and muscles happy. And we want to keep them happy. All right, so here we are. We're going to start with talking about the movements that we're going to be using. First, I'm going to get into my good belly dance posture, which means that I bend my knees. You can see how much they're bent. Boop. As I do that, my pelvis is going to tuck a little bit. I don't want to put too much pressure on it because I want it to be nice and flexible and loose for doing various movements. I am going to activate my core, and I'm going to roll my shoulders back. Now my arms are going to do one of two basic stances, arm hold stances for belly dance. Our first one is the pet lions. This basic position, you have these pet lions. You're putting your hands on them to just say, good pet lions, thanks for not eating me. I also have balloons under my armpits. These are, the visuals may be a little weird, but it does help with getting the movement down. You want the balloons on your armpits because you want to have strong arms. If you don't have those balloons, oh, you become a chicken. Nobody wants chicken. The lions will eat them. So this is stance number one. You'll also see that my hands are kind of pretty, or the belly dance pretty. And what I mean by that is that, this has just a little bit of softness to it. My fingers aren't all lined up. The middle finger is down a little bit more than the others. And you want to keep your thumb a bit tucked in so that it's not just out here for the lions to eat. All right, so this is stance number one. The other arm hold movement is this, and you'll see this arm hold movement when something sometimes is happening with the hips. It's not mandatory, but sometimes it's nice to just be like, look at these hips, look what they're doing. Okay, now we've talked about our hands. There is one basic movement that we'll be doing with the hands as well, where they're not in the hold position that I want to talk about, and that is the hand wave. What's going to happen with the hand wave? Here's my hand. I'm going to break this down into 3 pieces, and I'm going to move each at its own time. So up goes the wrist, up goes the knuckles, up goes the fingers and the top knuckles. So I guess you could say 4. Boop. And then I release each in turn. I've also heard this described as scooping the butter out of the bin. You know, you don't have any silverware, but you want to be nice and elegant about it. So we scoop the butter out of the bin. And we do that with both of our hands. We will have it on the vertical plane. And there will also be an option to put it on the horizontal plane. Now that we've talked about the hands, let's talk about what we're going to do, or our basic movement with our chest, and we'll just move our way down. So with our chest, what's going to happen to get the chest to move without the rest of the body, you need to, or what I have been taught is push your shoulder blades back together just a bit, not anything aggressive, but just a bit to say, hello everyone, something's about to happen here. You are going to be using your upper abs, so make sure that your core is activated to help with that. And then again with the weird visualizations, right? You have paint on your chest. And you want to paint this mural in front of you. So if I'm going to do a chest lift, which is the basic movement that we're going to be doing with the chest and a bit of a variation with it, I'm going to pop it up. So I have activated my back. I am using my upper abs to help out, and I'm going boop, boop. The other thing that we're going to do is, you want to make sure that you have a variety of spots that you're painting on your canvas, right? So we're going to do a chest slide, which instead of going up, we're gonna slide, off to the right, off to the left. Now when you're doing this, you have to kind of activate one side of your muscles, the side that it's coming from and the side that it's going to, and you squish over. So I can feel it up here, I can feel it over here to move my muscles. And then the last one, we've painted up, now we're gonna squish it down. Gotta go get more paint and up. So these movements together are going to make a diamond. We're gonna start off to the right, up, left, and then down. So we're gonna go right, which is a slide, pop up to the middle, pop down to the left, and down to get more paint. Okay, we've talked about what we're gonna do with our upper body. There will be a point where we are getting from the upper body to the lower body, and that is with a belly roll, where I tend to make mine a bit more of a body roll. The difference is whether you add the chest or not. If you're adding the chest and you're popping like we're going to, that's a body roll, but you'll be using a belly roll to get there. And to do a belly roll, you're going to activate your upper, your middle, and your lower abs. This is a bit of an advanced movement. So if you're new to the practice, what I want you to focus on is the lower abs. And by lower abs, I mean you're going to do a pelvic tuck. And so think of it as like you're playing soccer and someone kicked the ball really hard and the ball went a little wild and got you right in the tummy. Boom, and then release. Boom, release. So that is a pelvic tuck. We'll be using that, but if you can do that extra and do the belly roll, you're going to activate your upper abs. You're going to push them in, then your middle, then your lower. And as you push in each one, some of the other ones tend to want to release. So I'm sure in our video lessons together, we'll be talking more about belly rolls and body rolls, but that's just your little core basic, how does this work? If I'm adding my upper body and lower body, I'm pulling the chest back, get more paint, tuck, 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 release. All right, now to our lower body. Most of our movements today are going to be based off of this hip lift, which is a pretty basic or a pretty core belly dance movement. My knees are bent, and how I get this hip to go up is I'm going to straighten the knee that's attached to the hip I want to go up. Boop. When I do that, I'm straightening and I'm just kind of going straight up for a hip lift. When I do that, my other hip wants to go down, and we let it because it has to go somewhere. These two are connected. Then if I'm up here and I want the other one to go up, I just change which knee is straightened, and I think to myself, this one is going to go up. Boop, 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 boop. Now, some variations that we're going to do on this movement is one, we're going to go a little bit faster. Boop, 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 boop. When we go faster, it becomes what's called a shimmy. Shimmy can also be like this, a little bit more of an uncontrolled, but we're gonna make ours controlled just a little bit faster, like your intros to shimmies, right? And shimmies can come in all forms. So we have that. We're also going to do, or you'll have the option of doing a 3/4 shimmy, which is hitting one side twice before moving on to the other. This is a bit of a more advanced movement because I have to tell this hip up, down, up before this one gets a turn. Up, down, up, up, down, up, up, down, up. And you'll see when it's going up and it's going down, it's not going all the way down. You're just giving it a little prep to go back up. Boop, boop, as opposed to boop, boom, boom. With that, we will actually have one point where you're going to tick your hip up 4 times. So instead of doing the lift all at once, you'll also be able to tick, 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 tick. And if that's too much, just hit up and down. And that's completely good practice and a good thing to do. Now the other part that we're going to do is we will also have a figure 8, a vertical figure 8. Now a vertical figure eight, what we're going to do with that is we are going to, these are going to go from down to up. They can also go from up to down. The world is full of possibilities. But this one from down to up, I'm going to hit my tick down. So instead of a hip lift, it becomes a hip drop. Down, over, so push it out the slide just like we did with the chest. Up, there's that lift, and then in. And this one's already down then, so then I can go up, in, up, in, up, in, up, in. And I'm pushing out with these so that my hips really do make a figure eight. Now there's also going to be a little bit of movement. Not a ton. You see the space that I'm working with and that you might be working with. So the only movements that we're going to do is what's called a twist, but we will do it in two different ways and there will be a turn. So that twist, you're going to make a little bit of a Pac-Man mouth with your legs. You're going to shift the weight as you do that. So right now my weight is in both of my legs. I'm going to move my weight to my left so that I can take my right foot forward. As I do that, I'm going to hit. Then I'm going to lean back to my left, hit. Step my right back, hit. Boop, 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 boop. And if you want to give yourself a little bit of an extra challenge, you add that 3/4 shimmy. Boop, boop, boop. So we'll have it in this way, but then we're also going to have it by turning, shifting my weight to the right, pop the left, back to the right, pop the left. All right, I think we have gone over all of our basic movements, so now we're going to go and talk about the choreography.